Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is the Two Dumb Yinzers episode 581. I'd like to say welcome back. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing great. I am. Having a really good day. I've
All
had
right.
2 cups of coffee, so I might be a little wired, a little out of control.
All right. That works.
Yeah.
Um, Going into the weekend, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to the show. This is the Two Dumb Yinzers.
Yes.
Does my listen, the camera or my light that I have that's on
Oh
directly in
yeah.
front of me, does it look okay? Can I roll with this or should I? Because listen, it's giving me problems. And I don't know if I should just go fix it or is it okay like this?
It's not okay.
It's not
I
okay.
yeah, I don't like the way it looks.
All right.
Yeah. While you do that, I'm gonna commentate while you do this.
Um, all right, you could commentate.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Right. Oh, he blocked it out so we can't see him fix this. But no, welcome back to the Two Dumb Yinzers. Oh my God, man. We got Steelers training camp today. We got the Buccos are back in action. MLB trade line. It's right around the corner. We got Bucko talk about, who they might trade for. There's a couple awesome scenarios out there that we'll get into. Uh couple couple that involve 2 players from each team. I kind of like that. Or once we get into them, I'd like 1 player from one team, 1 player from the other team. For me, that ideally would be awesome. But if it's two from one team, I would prefer team A for team B, and we'll get into those down the line once Ryan fixes his lighting situation.
You know,
There, that's better.
if it keeps doing this, I'm not gonna fix it, Mike. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
do this all
No, dude,
show.
it looks a lot
Well,
better.
what I'm saying is it may do that again. That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
It
if it happens again, we'll just roll with it, dude.
you know what it is? It's like, well, it hooks into a USB like
Yeah.
everything else. In
Uh-huh.
the USB, that there's like some kind of connection,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's just the block itself or whatever, but
The trust me, dude. Like at my lighting at my studio, I have that same issue where like I think it charges, and I go and turn it on, it didn't charge because of the USB problems.
so I just can't do that. I can't do this for an hour. So I'm just letting you
Yeah.
know now. If it goes back to that, it's staying that way.
Yeah.
I've been
Maybe
fortunate.
maybe the podcast gods will be on our side today.
I put it. I that's going to be another thing I'm going to work on this week. We do got guys. We have our second summer week of vacation coming next week. So after today's show, that will be it will be August 5th.
Yes.
August 5th will be the next time we'll be back. That'll be Monday, August 5th. We're gonna have a lot of exciting things. Derpy will be down at or up at camp
Yes.
the weekend before, so we'll have some stuff from him from camp when we come back. But we will, guys. We'll be off next week. It's our second week of summer vacation. Then we're back for the duration. We'll be
Yes. Oh yeah.
pretty much
Here for the long
until
haul, baby.
pretty much New Year's. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've earned it. I think our equipment has earned it as well.
I know we definitely need an upgrade. We're going to be doing some
Yeah.
upgrading here real
Yes.
soon.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, yeah.
I know, like your stuff's falling apart, my stuff's falling apart. That's what happens when you do like 5 shows a week.
Yesterday, of course, as Mike stated, it was day one, day
Yes.
one of camp. They started showing up on Wednesday, but yesterday they got to work.
Hmm.
Mike, the spring football is done with. The women's football is done with. All the football that's not the NFL is done with, and now it's time for the NFL.
Oh,
Mike,
I
less
can't
than
wait.
1 week, we have the Hall of Fame game. Once the Hall of Fame game comes, then shortly after that will be the regular preseason,
Yep.
and then a good yeah, I think with 43 days or so from today we'll be kicking off the
Yeah.
opening kickoff for the season. So it's going to be here, Mike. It's going to be here real fast, and I got to tell you, we counted down every day from the day after the Super Bowl till right now, and it went fast. It
It
went
did.
fast.
It did. We had that little lull like right before the draft. It actually this drag forever, but once the draft came, that whole process like a month out, it flew by. Little bit of a lag. Then OTA started. Then stuff started happening. More and more stuff started happening. Then boom, training camp is here. And I tell you what, man, I woke up today to go to work this morning. It was 60 degrees outside. 60. I get home. after work this morning. It is still cold. My studio is still cold. Has that fall chill in the air right now, and that is perfect because we're day two in Steeler camp. My studio feels like football weather right now.
Uh,
So I am just amped up for football right now. I can't wait till they get the
so
pads on and
today,
start hitting.
like today is day two.
Yes.
Brian, good morning on the board. Brian says Derpy for president, 162 exclamation points. Um, get on. Don't forget to get on and order your shirts. We do have a Derpy for president. It's not actually a Derpy for president. It's
You know, I
we're
might
working
make
on
it.
that.
Yeah, I should work for a Derp 2024.
But we do have Derpy shirts. We have Derpy shirts that say something along the lines of that's why they play 162, and other shirts. So do go check that out, Mike. I would love to talk about merchandise for the whole hour.
I'm sure
However,
he would.
however, we Mike, this is it. We got one day
Yeah.
until vacation again.
Uh,
Second week of vacation. We're gonna knock it out next week, and then we will be back again for the duration. So
yes.
guys, let's talk some football. Let's talk some Steelers again. Mike, yesterday they started at camp. Russell Wilson woke up with a calf. The funny thing about Russ is, what I've seen from him so far since he's been with the Steelers is he's been working out since the day that he signed. There's not
Yeah.
been a day that I've went on Twitter and I haven't seen him doing some kind of workout. So I figured this guy's going to be in tip-top shape. He comes out, Mike, for day one of camp, and he wakes up with a calf. So I don't know if that's a sign of things to come or what that is, but that's the story, Mike.
Yeah, and it's continuing into day two. Saw reports on Twitter that he has, the same jersey on that he had yesterday and the ball cap on and holding a football, led the team in stretches, but is not doing any drills right now. So calf injury seems to be lingering. I'd rather have it now this first part of camp and instead of at the end of camp right before the games kick off for real. So now's the best time to have a little nag.
But I mean, Mike. On the other hand, I mean, is this a sign? Is this a sign to come? The guy's not exactly a young
Yeah.
guy anymore. He comes in, he's a little bit older, works his ass off, and all of a sudden now he wakes up for camp and he is unable to participate. I just hope again that's not a
Yeah.
sign of things to come. However, if it is, it sure seems like Justin Fields went out there and held his own yesterday in place of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he had some ups, he had some downs, but like he said and Tomlin said, it felt good. He felt good physically, felt good mentally out there. He looked confident. Some of like he had a nice deep ball that was completed. They had another one that was kind of like a wounded duck, which is rare for him on the deep balls. He's usually pretty accurate on the deep balls. Usually has a nice tight spiral. So, you know what? For his first day at Steeler camp, he looked pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Yes, that is so true. Mike, also, another name that's being talked about heavily as camp is underway is the rookie linebacker Peyton Wilson.
yeah.
So, I mean, right when we drafted him, a lot of things were being said about this
Hmm.
guy just having such the heart. He gets everywhere on the field. He might not have what is it, ligaments in his knee, but
Yeah.
he still may be the hardest football player on the field. And sometimes that's the guy that you want.
Hmm.
Even if he has a little bit of an injury issue, he's going to be the guy that gets out there and
Yeah.
hits people. He's going to be the guy that gets out there and make plays. He's the guy that's going to put his nose on the ball every play, Mike.
Oh yeah, and like some of the clips I saw, he was flying out there. It looked like people were standing still, and you're watching him just zoom right past them, and you realize no, everyone is moving at full speed.
Yeah.
That's just how quick he is. Um, yeah, I know there's like that talk about the injury concern for him, but like he said, he's like, I haven't been injured since my sophomore year, and he was a senior, so he's been really healthy. He had his injuries early on in college, so hopefully that's behind him. Doesn't have room to not have an ACL in one knee, so you don't have to worry about him tearing that ACL. So he'll be good to go. But yeah, I want to see him, Patrick Queen, and Landon Roberts. That trio right there. Ooh, however they decide to deploy any of those three is going to be fun to watch, and it's nice to see him out there.
Absolutely. I am
Oh
very
yeah.
excited about this whole class of rookies.
Uh huh.
There's not one of them that I don't want to see. I'm very, Of course, you got the offensive lineman that you got early. You got Peyton Wilson. There's a handful of guys, Mike, that I'm very, very excited to watch.
Yeah.
Again, Derpy will be there next Friday. And again, once we come back from break, we'll have all the scoop from Derpy from up at camp. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait to see what he could get. Mike, also another person that a lot of people are talking about because of his style of play, his hard hitting. He gets his nose on the ball on every play, and he shows up in a pair of overalls for camp to start. Mike, Landon Roberts is one guy on this defense that I cannot wait for. And you know what? Say what you want about the Pittsburgh Steelers, but there may not be a better group of linebackers from top to bottom in the NFL. Yes, some teams have a pretty good linebacking core. However, top to bottom, from your TJ Watt, the guy that has 90 sacks in his first how many ever years, and bringing in Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, Landon Roberts, you got to be excited about this linebacker core, Mike.
Yeah, and that's not even mentioning Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig. My God, not only do we have starters, we have depth there as well. And a couple of our backups could be starters elsewhere. And like you said, Landon Roberts, what he did last year when Holcomb went down, when Quan went down, he was that steadying influence on that inside backer core. And he just kept them running along, no matter who they put beside him. He made sure they were ready to go. And he kept that defense in line last year. It felt like everyone started going down, and he was the rock. And my God, hopefully, he can still be that steadying presence. I'd like to see Peyton Wilson push him for playing time. That's no knock on what Landon Roberts is as a player, but if you can rotate those three inside backers,
Mike, it's going to be such a highly competitive linebacker.
Yeah.
Because on the other hand, as you said, we have Nick Herbig as well, who's going to certainly be pushing for playing time. And you know what? These guys' play, there's nothing that says, wait a minute, that that they're going to automatically get the job. These young guys, your Herbigs, your Wilsons, it's going to be very fun with this linebacker core, Mike. Plus, the few things that we made, the adjustments we made in the secondary, I think it's going to go a long way as well. I think that the Achilles heel in this defense is going to be the defensive line. It's an aging defensive line. I think you're going to get the same thing with your Cam Hayward that you got last year. You're going to get the same thing from Larry Ogunjobi. Hopefully, we could get a increase in performance from Keanu Benton. But Mike, I got to tell you, I'm not thrilled about this defensive line, and it's going to make you wonder to yourself. I mean, how's that going to affect things? You got to, that's a big part of your defense. Even if you do use your linebackers for a lot of things, a lot of blitzing, you still need the defensive line to take up bodies and take up blocks and things like that. That is my concern. We are fortunate that Cam Hayward is such a big person to where he kind of by default, can be successful, but I'd like to see a little bit more out of Cam Hayward moving forward.
Me too. I don't want to see a lot of like ties at the offensive line or at the line of scrimmage from Cam. I want to see him be able to consistently, like he did in years past, push guys back.
Yeah,
routinely. Not like we always say, he'll have those 3 or 4 games that remind you of this is the Cam Hayward everyone talks about, that everyone remembers, that thinks he is now. If he can somehow find that fountain of youth this season, that will be huge, because the depth behind those 3 is not the greatest. Montravius Adams, Loudermilk, DeMarvin Leal, Fehoko, that's not the greatest depth.
You know what we're missing, Mike? We're surely missing Harry Mandouche. Remember him? What was his name? Mondu.
Yeah.
And it was like Henry Mondu.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But if Keanu Benton, the way he played last year as a rookie, that like you said, that was a bright spot. And you hate to put too much pressure on him, but he has to make that huge second-year jump. He has to be kind of how Javon Hargraves was in his second year. Just take over that nose tackle position, take over the way Casey Hampton did early in his career too. He needs to have a huge jump, because in the 3-4, if those 3 guys can't control the line of scrimmage, your linebackers are worthless. Your secondary becomes worthless. You can just start running on that team up and down the field, and then boom, you bring a safety down, they're going to hit you with play action. So those 3 guys, they have to stay healthy, and they have to produce. You have to take the pressure off that linebacking core.
Speaking of linebackers, Mike, we did talk about the three the three Steelers last week that were in the top 100 players in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Over the weekend, I found out that you add a fourth because of a player that we did bring in the offseason. Of course, Patrick Queen is
Yep.
also a top 100 player in the NFL. Mike, he falls 64 on the top list of 100. So we do have four players, all on the defensive side of the ball,
Yeah.
who are in our top 100 in the NFL. TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward, and of course, Patrick Queen. So those are also some good things that, doesn't do much on the field, but on paper looks great.
Yeah.
And it tells me that, hopefully this defense is going to be, I hope that they're ready this year, man, because when
Me
it comes
too.
down to that, you got to be able to play good defense. We got players. I just can't wait to see what we can do this year.
Me too. And I want to see what Loudermilk can do and Leal can do. They've been in the system a while now. It's put up or shut up time with those guys. They have to become solid contributors. They're not going to start, but they have to. When they rotate in, you can't miss a beat. They have to be causing disruptions, winning at the line of scrimmage. They just can't be what they have been.
Mike, on the PUP list on day one, there's already three people on the physically unable to perform list. Cole Holcomb, that is no surprise. Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
And also Dean Lowry. There are three players. Of course, we are always used to Casey Hampton being on it on day one. But this ain't gonna, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, like you brought up the Casey Hampton. That was always my favorite battle between him and Bill Cowher every year, the 40-yard dash.
Yeah, the biggest battle that Casey Hampton had was trying not to eat cupcakes in between.
If Big Fella got to run 40 yards once in a game, we were screwed.
I tell you what, he looks damn good though. I seen.
Oh my God, he looks fantastic.
It's like he weighs about $150.
I know he little snack now.
He is little snacks.
He's fun size now.
Mike, also the I know you just love this guy, so I wanted to make sure I brought it up.
Oh, great.
The Steelers, they are looking for their third string quarterback. Of course, we all know.
Oh, yeah.
That Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are quarterbacks 1 and 2. We did draft a QB late also, but there was a quarterback that's coming to town and is in town right now working out with the Steelers. Of course, none other than Ben DiNucci. Ben DiNucci, he played for the Cowboys. He played for a few teams since he's been in the NFL. He also played for the either the XFL or the USFL.
Yeah, I can't remember which one.
I can't remember either. Former Pine Richland Ram, right up in Gibsonia here. So, we'll see. I always thought the kid, he's not a great quarterback, and he's probably not, he's a good backup. If we would bring in Ben DiNucci and he sat in that third spot, I would be totally fine with that.
Well, you know what? He has to battle Kyle Allen, another.
Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen and John Reese Plumlee.
Yeah.
For that third or fourth spot. So I'm rooting for Kyle Allen, excuse me.
I know nothing about Kyle Allen, so I'm going to stick with Ben DiNucci. But he is in camp. Also, get up to camp. It is ongoing. A lot of people going up there, a lot of people getting to meet their favorite players, getting autographs, souvenirs, things like this. Derpy will be going 1 week from today. We will have Derpy live at camp. Can't wait to see what Derpy can dig up.
Oh God,
at camp this year.
He needs to start high-fiving more players because last year he got that high five from Jaylen Warren, and Jaylen Warren won on the
breakout season.
Yeah, so he needs to find Corey Trice Jr. He needs to find
Loudermilk, smack the shit out of him.
Hey, hashtag free Dan Moore. All right, I love me some Dan Moore Jr.
He needs to smack the shit out of Cam Hayward. He needs to get all these guys that aren't performing and smack them upside the head. You know how he smacked Jaylen Warren on the hands?
You know what?
Jaylen Warren had good. Yeah. He needs to smack these guys in the head.
Dude, he can do that to Dan Moore. I want Dan Moore to solidify the left tackle position because I love people crying about Broderick Jones having to play the right side. And I thought he dominated at the right side, leaving there, put Fatano at left.
Yeah. They're going to get it all together, Mike.
No, I know. Eventually, that line. I know that was like the big ordeal on Twitter yesterday was Dan Moore Jr. is at left tackle.
You've been all worked up about this.
No, because I find it funny.
I literally had this conversation. None. I know. I think they're going to get. I think they're going to get the offensive line.
They're going to get the line how they want it. Yeah. Oh, he's a natural left tackle. Why? Because that's where he puts his hand down. He's a better run blocker than pass blocker. So
I mean, just two
that makes him a better
preseasons
right
ago, Mike,
tackle.
these guys were blocking their
Yeah,
own
I know.
teammates.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
I'm confident. I'm happy with the
Me too.
progress they made. And I'm excited to
Yeah,
see what these young guys can do. But I think by week one, they're going to have that
yeah.
whole situation figured out. The line's
Oh
going to be
yeah.
playing fine, and we're going to be able to watch this young line for years
Oh,
to
I
come.
can't.
So
Well, a dominant offensive line again. We haven't seen one of those in a long ass time.
no, Mike AB. AB, you know how I like to keep, I usually like to keep an eye on his what he
Oh
got
God,
going
his
over on X,
shenanigans
his
and his
shenanigans on the X. One of his last tweets were this. Mike,
oh
he
God.
says, in the last 3 months, the word faggot has been tweeted 2.6 million times. I want to know how many. The only thing that matters to me is how many times did Antonio Brown tweeted that. I
It was
think
how many times? How many million?
2.6 million.
I'm gonna go with AB has probably tweeted it 2.5
Yeah,
million times.
2.6 million times faggot has been tweeted on 3 months, the last 90 days.
like
So
like this is why we keep AB around. He is just gonna channel everyone's bigotry. Just let him be the world's bigot, and
well,
everyone
I mean,
else
he's
can
not
get
calling
along and move
anybody a
along.
faggot. He's just
No,
saying the
no,
word.
but
I
I'm
mean,
saying, but like
it's
he's
not
others.
bigotry if you're not
Yeah,
not
yeah,
offending somebody.
yeah. I know, but I want him to be the channel for it. That way, everyone else can just go about their lives and be happy. With this week, that's going to be AB's post NFL career is just channel everyone's hatred through him. But then he makes you laugh about it because he says it so off the wall. You can't help but laugh when he says it.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm
See, that's
saying.
what I was getting at. I just
Also,
couldn't
Mike,
form it properly.
NFL news. The Cody Rhodes shows up for Cincinnati Bengals camp. I'm like, I got to tell you, the first 3 4 glances I looked at this picture of Joe Burrow, he looked just like Cody Rhodes from the WWE, does he not?
He looks like Cody Rhodes, or he looks like the people that imitate Eminem.
Yeah, yeah.
Like will the real Slim Shady please stand up? I don't like this new look from Joe Burrow. That does not instill confidence in me. God, he looks terrible. He does. Like I don't want my quarterback
This is
coming in with a
Mike
red.
talking about somebody's terrible hair.
Exactly. Exact. Trust me. I
All
know.
right,
I
all
am
right.
jealous of people's
Hey, I
hair.
was just making just
Hey, I
making
notice
sure
people's
I
hair
heard
because
that
I don't
correctly.
have
I'm
any, and I'm
sorry.
jealous of it. Well, what I'm saying is, I don't want my quarterback coming in with a radical change of identity.
Yeah.
He went from Joe Burr, the cool
Well,
guy,
I think you
to
got it from the
this
last
nerdy looking guy.
couple performance years he had. Maybe you want a little bit of a change, but he needs to stay healthy. Obviously, that's his big
Yeah,
Achilles heel along the way here. He's not going to get much done if he's not on the field.
I'm okay if he's on the IR.
I am too.
As a
I'd
Steeler
rather him
fan,
be on the
as a
IR.
Steeler fan, yeah. As a football fan, I want to see him out there. But as a Steeler fan, and he's in my division, IR baby, rest up, baby, rest up.
Yeah, for sure. Mike, we're going to hop over to the diamond. Um, I know that the Steelers are the hot topic right now, but at this
Yeah,
point, I mean, there are the
but the
minimal amount of
Buckos.
stories that we're seeing everywhere. But besides for that, we have a hot Pirates baseball team, so we have to make sure we touch on this as well. Like the
Yes.
last time the Pirates played, they beat the Cardinals 5-0 in Game 3 of that 3 game set, which means they won yet another series. The last series that the Pirates actually lost was the last time they played the Cardinals. They've won every series since. They won against the Phillies. They won against Chicago. They won against the Brewers. They tied a 4 game series with the Mets, but all the way back to the last St. Louis Cardinals game was the last time the Pirates lost a series. I mean, when you watch them play, they don't look hot.
No,
But when you look at their numbers and you look at their statistics and numbers against everybody else in the league, they're kind of hot.
they are, and like we say, like they're the best of the average teams in baseball.
Yeah.
They're in that group, and that's how. And right now, they haven't had a stretch like this all season.
And you know
So
what? This is what we've been calling for. We said this is what
yeah,
they need. They need a 6 game winning streak to kind of just catapult them forward a little bit to get
yeah,
with the rest of the pack, because they were always playing this. They won one, they lost one. They win two, they
yeah.
lost two. And that went on for months. Months, Mike. They didn't have 3 or more wins or losses in a row for months, and they're finally able to turn the fortunes a little bit and get the wins that they need, Mike. In this last 12 games of July that we've been talking about in particular, I said that the Pirates were going to have 4 wins total in those last 12 games. Right now, halfway through, 6 games into that 12 games, they're 4-2, Mike. They've won 4 out of the first 6 games. Now they're going down to Arizona to play tonight in a 3-game series. They leave Arizona, they'll go to Houston to play a 3-game series, and then it'll be the end of the month. It'll be trade deadline, and we'll have a whole bunch of other storylines and conversations to talk about then. But Mike, right now, this Pittsburgh Pirate team, they're 52-50. They are 26-26 at home, 500 at home, 26-24 on the road. They are not under 500 anywhere. And Mike, you know where this is really important? You know where this is really important when it comes down to what jerseys they wore when they won these games.
This is your favorite right here. This is your favorite breakdown.
This is my favorite breakdown. Let me see if I can't find where I have these amazing numbers. Here they are, Mike. In their white jerseys, their home whites, the Pirates are 11-11. In their grays, their away grays, the Pirates are 10-10. In their City Connect jerseys, the Pirates are 5-5. So far, Mike, 11-11, 10-10, 5-5. Now they have the alternative black jerseys, which they are 0-1 in. But the one that is making the difference is the jersey that I think that this team should wear for 162 games, 26-23 in their black jerseys. Mike, this team has no losing record anywhere that you look across any of their numbers is what I'm basically the point that I'm trying to push here.
It's been a while since we could say that. They were struggling at home for the longest time. They were just so under 500 the longest time. Now they got it back up to 500. And that's encouraging because, we're +2 on the road. And historically, that's where teams struggle is winning on the road. And now if we can just, keep winning at home, there's a novel idea, use some hometown cooking, win at home. Fans are starting to show up now. We can maybe have a little bit of a home field advantage and keep playing the same way we are on the road. And this Bucco team can do something. Like we said before, our break the other day, the look on the Phillies players, they looked like, holy shit, this is not the Buccos we're used to. We don't want to play this team down the line.
You're right. They're
becoming a dangerous ball club.
Could be trouble.
Yeah.
If you in fact start Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, and Jared Jones in the playoffs, if those are your 3 playoff pitchers, you should be okay. But Mike, I got to tell you, the offense doesn't really give me any reason to feel confident if they do get into the playoffs and these pitchers do come in and have amazing games, because look what happened for Paul Skeens the other day. They were unable to score
0 runs.
0 runs. So that's the one thing that concerns me, Mike. Of course, we will be talking about the trade deadline here shortly. Let me get a little bit through this last game that the Pirates played. They played the Cardinals. They won 5-0. Rowdy Tellez has a big day. He goes 2 for 3, has 2 runs, 2 RBIs. He has a jack in that game. Connor Joe goes 1 for 3, 2 ribbies and a walk. Palacio 1 for 4 with a run. Nicky Clutch goes 1 for 4, and then Michael A. Taylor goes 2 walks and a run. The pitcher in that game was Martin Perez, who continues to silently impress me because he doesn't dominate when you watch him. But at the end of the game, this was, when he got pulled, Mike, after 6 whole innings, this was his numbers. He gave up 4 hits, 0 earned runs. He did have some walks, but on the other hand, he had 2 strikeouts as well. I mean, for a guy that these are fill-ins. We haven't seen Jared Jones for 3 weeks now, for a month. We haven't seen Falter. We haven't seen Falter for a while. And then Mitch Keller and Skeens are basically the only 2 starting pitchers that we have in the rotation at the moment. But for what these other guys have been able to do, Mike, come out and produce wins, I would have had these games chalked off as losses. I really would have. But the way Perez, Ortiz, and Gonzalez came out over the past 10 days, you got to be happy with what they're doing. But we got to fix this hitting.
Yeah, the hitting is it's the main issue. They have more than enough pitching. They have more than enough quality starting pitching too, and it's bats. They need guys who can hit for average. For average. Because we have guys that have some pop in the bat, and the guys that that we're hearing about coming back in trades, just about everyone has the same amount of home runs. They have a slightly better batting average. I just want guys who can get on base, decent on base percentage, pretty good OPS. That's the stuff I'm looking for. Guys who can get on, because how many times have we lost games because we left runners stranded because we're trying to hit that home run ball? Get a little seeing eye single, a little bloop shot somewhere. Just I hate saying it over and over, but for me, it's station to station baseball. It's the lost art. I sound like an old head, but I love home runs, but I love watching the carousel
Hey,
go
you got
around
to be
and
able to
around and
score. I mean, come
around.
on, you
Yeah, and
can't
that
hit
just
home
adds
runs.
momentum.
Your offense can't be home runs.
No, no, you
And
got to.
and if it is, it's a team that has a lot more home run hitters than
Yeah,
what we have.
yeah, and I like the stuff like you said too. We're starting to steal more bases. So they're Shelton's slowly maybe realizing, hey, I don't have guys who can hit for average, but I got some guys who have some speed on the base path. So let's start, getting guys into scoring position early in, excuse me, early in the order, get them moving around. He pulled off with the double steal the other day. So they're not going to get guys who can hit for average, get on base a whole lot, but when they're on, you gotta start, stealing bases, moving them around the base somehow.
We thought that
Manufacture that shit.
we thought we might be in trouble, Mike, not having all of our starting pitchers on the mound. Get this. The starting pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals in that last game we played him, he had 40 pitches in the second inning.
Woo!
40 pitches. I don't think he made it long after that. Maybe the third
No,
inning they
and,
had
he was out quick.
40 pitches, Mike. So we could be
Damn.
in a lot worse shape. Here's the Cardinals
Yeah.
right in the race with us. They're right there. There's not a pitcher in our rotation that I think I say this now, but you know what? It'll happen tonight. We don't have a pitcher in our rotation that gonna have 40 pitch inning.
Yeah.
But I guess you can never say. But this guy here, he did. It was in a tight game against the Pirates, a division game. We're all fighting for playoff spots.
Mm-hmm.
We looked good. They didn't. We are one game behind them, Mike. Also, let me give you the division.
Yeah.
It looks like as of right now, this is up to the minute. Pittsburgh Pirates, NL Central Division. As we speak, the Hot Pirates are. Let me start at the top. The
Yeah.
Milwaukee Brewers, of course, they sit atop the division, like they have most of the season. St. Louis Cardinals, they are 6 games back. Pirates 1 game behind them, 7 games back in the division. However, we're only a game and a half out of the wild card. It was 1 game. We were off yesterday, and you know how that is. You have the day off and somebody else wins, which was the case. So we dropped down to a game and a half, still very much in the race. Mike, we are ahead of just about a whole mess load of teams. If you look in the conference, the standings, the Pirates, after them, it drops. We're 1.5 out of the wild card. After that, it drops to like 4. So we have a couple game lead ahead of the teams behind us. Yet we're only game and a half, 2 games, 2.5 games behind the teams in front of us. And the Braves, I got to tell you, the Braves, who has that top playoff or that top wild card seed, they have been losing a lot, Mike. They're only like we're only like 3.5 games or something behind them in the wild card race. So keep your eyes open, guys. I'm not saying this Pirate team is great. I'm not saying that anything amazing. I'm just saying we have Paul Skeens, and our fortune has seemed to change since he's got called up. So I'm just saying, keep an eye on this team. They could be dangerous because, again, if you're facing Skeens, Keller, Jones in the playoffs, that could mean for trouble. But Mike, what do we got to do before that could even become a thought in our mind? What does this Pirates team have to do next?
They got to play all 162, baby.
Really, he's derpy.
I know. They need to make some key trades and acquisitions.
Mike, I'm gonna suggest my key trades.
Yes.
Then you tell me yours, and then you tell me a little bit about what you heard this morning because you were trying to fill me in before the show. Yeah. I say this. This is what fixes the Pittsburgh Pirates. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm all
Not only
ears.
will they have good pitching, not only will they have good defense, but this will fix the Pirates' offense. Jazz Chisholm from Miami.
Yes.
He's currently right around 250, 253, give or take, center fielder. Okay, so Jazz Chisholm in center field, that takes Jack Sawinski and Michael A. Taylor out of there.
Yes.
I'm not saying you got to get rid of them. You may have to, somewhere
move one or the other.
But then the other one would be your backup, of course. And then your right field, you have to, Mike, this guy is overachieving, and I'm fine with that. But Brent Rooker from the Oakland A's, he's batting 293.
That's the best batting average on our team.
Nobody would have you're right. It is.
I think no one would have a higher batting average.
Mike, Brent Rooker, the corner outfielder, is batting 293 at the time. He has 23 home runs and 69 RBIs. Mike, those are numbers that are better than anybody on our team. Nobody has 23 home runs. Nobody has 70 RBIs.
No, yeah, because right now Reynolds is slashing 288, 18 and 61. So he's
Exactly. And he's been
better
playing
numbers
damn
than
good.
Reynolds. But my God, that you have those two guys, then O'Neal Cruz and that
Mike,
lineup too.
so basically this is what would happen. You would have Jazz Chisholm in center field, you'd have Brent
Yeah,
Rooker in right, Brian Reynolds in left. Your infield would be, I think you're gonna have to go with Hayes, O'Neal Cruz, uh Nikki G and Rowdy Telez. And I
yeah,
say Joey Bart behind the plate.
yeah.
Everybody else is your backups. That's your best possible lineup. And let me tell you, if they make these moves and they bring these two guys in,
Mm-hmm.
like that turns things around right now.
Yeah.
And what were we talking about right now?
Right now, offense,
They got to make these
offense.
moves. Mike
They need to make them now.
Mike was saying yesterday they can't kick down the can down the
No.
road anymore. Okay, listen. If we have to give up prospects, then you might say, well, what about the future? They've been doing this for 30
Just now.
plus years. If
Yeah.
you got to try to we're living now. You got to try to win now. So what you're going to lose
Yeah.
for 30 years and hope that in 30 years you might have the guys that could win.
Mm-hmm.
Go get the guys. If you have to trade a Bubba Chandler, you have to trade a I'm sorry, a Braxton Ashcraft. You know what? At this
You
point in the
have to do
game,
it.
you got to do it.
You
I
have to.
mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates literally, come on, they have to.
Yeah. Brian Reynolds isn't getting any younger. O'Neal Cruz is up here. Brian Hayes is here. Paul Skeens is here. Jared Jones is here. Mitch Keller's here. That's your core. You have to add to them. You can't wait another 3 years for prospects to come along. You add now. Like I was telling Ryan yesterday at the studio, they need to channel their inner Jimmy Rutherford and say, F them prospects. We are trading them for guys who can help us win now. We'll worry about the future when we get to the future. And you know what? Every time I go to the arena, I look up. You know what I see? I see back-to-back Stanley Cup championship banners. I don't care what prospects we gave up. I don't care what draft picks we gave up. I look up, I see two championships. You know what I go to when I see PNC Park? When I look up, I don't see Diddley Poo. I don't see Diddley
Now
Poo
there
from
are
this
5 World
era.
Series pennants, but they're gathering a
But
lot
no,
of dust
how
out
far
there.
along are those? Those were so far
You
long
weren't even
ago.
born, Mike. You weren't even
No,
born.
it was
You were a
79 was the
swimmer.
last year they won.
Yeah, you were a swimmer.
Yeah, yeah. So you go out. If you have to trade these guys, trade them. Guess what? You're going to get more prospects because we're going to eventually trade people down the line
Mike,
anyway. So
I seen
you're going to
yesterday
refill. So just get
one
now,
of the
build
local
to this
radio
team.
stations yesterday suggested Henry Davis. If Henry Davis
Yeah.
is involved in trade talks, would you be okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
What has he shown me? I don't care that he's a former number one, but what has he shown me?
Yeah.
Not much.
You gotta say to yourself. I mean, they were talking about on the game the other day about Joey Bart getting thrown into the situation down there in San Francisco. He was a pick number 2 overall. He was
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be the heir apparent to
Mm-hmm.
Buster Posey. And Buster Posey, something went down, and they kind of had to throw Joey Bart into the
Yeah.
situation faster than he wanted to be, and that kind of messed him up. And it seems like he's finally coming around.
Yeah.
I mean, that could very well be the case with Henry Davis as well, Mike.
Could be.
And he could end up being a star one day, but you're okay sending him down
I'm
the road to
okay.
try to win
Yeah.
now.
I want to win now. I don't want to wait for Henry Davis to figure it out.
Yeah.
We got Joey Bart. Edney will be back next year. So I'm okay with the catcher situation there. You can't be afraid to move on from players. You can't if you can get something for them that's going to help you now, you go ahead and you do it. You can't live in your fears. To quote Mike Tomlin, you can't live in your fears. You have to make moves. If you want to win and be a serious organization, this is the team to build around. But you like say this is our 3 year window starting today. This is year 1, year 2, year 3. We're going to try and do what we can. I don't
Well,
care if they don't win a World Series, but as long as they're competitive,
what do we got?
maximize
4
their
days?
window.
4 days, Mike.
Yeah.
About 4 days. We'll see what the Pirates do at this weekend series against Arizona. And then they're going to have to make some decisions early next week because it's going to be the end of the month, which means that is trade deadline.
Yep.
We will see. You're getting signs of hope from the team that they understand
Yeah.
at least that they should probably be buyers at this point. But
Yeah.
we will see because the ownership, the GM up
Yeah.
here. We will see.
Real quick quote from Ben Sherrington. We definitely had those conversations with other teams about guys. We want to help the team. We're always trying to improve internally or externally. We've had trade conversations where we've considered giving up 10 guys for one player.
See, they're gonna do something stupid because they're dumb.
They're not gonna get I know like Rooker and Brian Reynolds are not the best defensive outfielders, but I'm willing to sacrifice a little
They're
defense
both
for more
average
offensive.
hitters. You
Yeah,
want to.
I'm willing to
They're
sacrifice
both
that for the
contact
pop.
hitters that hit for average. I mean,
Yeah,
we need
I'll
that.
take that. Yeah, and Rooker has the pop this year. You put Jazz Chisholm in center field, he can help, cover some ground out there, and maybe, mask some of their defensive liabilities.
And also become that guy on offense to move around the pads a little bit to, be
Yeah,
able to manufacture
yeah.
more runs.
It's a zero-sum game. Not everyone is a great fielder and a great hitter. So you have to do a little risk reward. I'd rather have more offense because I got the pitching now to where I really don't have to worry about my defense as much.
Arizona sorry, the Diamondbacks. It comes up next. We have a 3-game set with them, Mike. Game 1 of 3 tonight at 9:40. Make sure you get your rest today if you're trying to stay up and watch this game. Saturday, game 2 will be 8:10. Sunday will be 4:10. Of course, all later games out in Arizona. Then they'll be off to Houston. The 3 pitchers that we're putting on the hill this series, Mike, tonight is going to be Luis Ortiz coming in with a 5-2 record, a 2.57 ERA, and 59 strikeouts on the season. Tomorrow, Marco Gonzalez will be on the hill, and on Sunday to wrap up the series, Mitch Keller. So hopefully we can continue to win series and keep moving forward. At this time, Mike, like as we were talking about, that's 12 games after the All-Star break. Between that and the trade deadline, so far they are 4-2. 3 games in Arizona to come, 3 games in Houston to come. Mike, again, you win 4 games out of these 6. You're sitting at 8-12. That is a 750, 75% winning. We'll take it, right? We're the Pirates. How bad? I mean,
hell yeah, definitely take that. And it's doable.
Mike, these teams, Arizona's a half game better than us.
Yeah.
In Houston, they're maybe a game or two. They're leading their division. They're the West division in the American League, and they're ahead of that division. Mike, these 2 teams are totally beatable.
They are, and then not to jump too far ahead, but then we get Arizona again.
Yes, so come home.
Yeah, so we have a chance to do something special right here, and it's right leading up into the trade deadline. Force management to make killer moves, go out there and just dominate these games, get yourself into a better position in the wild card, maybe make up some ground against San Diego, get back into second place and threaten for that number 1 wild card spot. I think we're 2.5 games out. I just checked. So everything is within striking distance for this team. They just need to go out there and produce. And we see that they can do it. They just need to do it consistently. And that's been their biggest problem. It's just being consistent.
We'll see.
We're starting to see signs of them being able to do things consistently, but they just need to just lock it up, man.
We'll see if we can get a little help from these teams. Mike, of course, we are playing the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Cincinnati Reds in the division, they're at Kansas City. I'm sorry, that's the Chicago Cubs. The Cincinnati Reds are at Tampa Bay. The St. Louis Cardinals are playing the Washington Nationals, who I've been following over the past week or so because other teams we in our division played them, and they're pretty bad, the Nationals. I'm not really counting too much on them. And then the Milwaukee Brewers, they played the Miami Marlins, who are pretty much the second worst team in the league. So I don't know if we're going to get any help, but we have to go out to Arizona and win at least 2 out of 3 games. And you know what? I'm somewhat confident in these 3 pitchers. I'm very confident in Mitch Keller. But if one of these other 2 guys, either Ortiz or Gonzalez, comes out and has a good day and able to get a win, we could wrap up another series and get ready to head to Houston.
Yeah, I'm starting to get Bucko fever ramped up again.
And it's crazy because we have, Steelers fever.
I know
is setting in, and Buccos, they're never good at the same time. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah,
Pirates are still even, if they're in contention when the Steelers season starts. And then obviously going into October, you got playoffs, things like that in baseball.
Yeah.
Going to be very interesting. Mike, let me give you some numbers over the past homestand. The 6 games that the Pirates were at home, they had 188,418 people attend their games. That adds about right a little under 32,000 people a game. For Pittsburgh in a 6 game streak in a 6 game span, that's very good. Usually, when
That's
we get these
huge.
kind of numbers, that indicates that the team is getting better and playing good
Hmm.
baseball.
Yeah, because like we said, man, we'll fill the stadium, man. If they're playing well, we'll come out and support you. When you're not, we'll let you know that you're not.
Yeah.
And this town's itching for a winner, and we'll take it wherever we can find it.
We're at a -6 run differential,
Yeah.
which is good. Mind you, that a month ago we were about 38 game or
Yeah.
38 run
Yeah.
differential negative. So we're to 6. I'm fine with that. The most Googled Paul on Google is Paul Skeens. Surprise, surprise, Mike.
That's no surprise at all that Paul Skeens is lighting up the Google searches.
Yeah, he sure is. He is
Hell
the
yeah, dude's he might be one of the most dominant rookies we've seen in a long ass time, and we've seen some great ones like Crosby, Lemieux, Yager,
Did you see they were chanting
Big Ben.
MVP last time he played? They were chanting MVP.
No shit.
Yeah, that day that he got pulled after 1 out in the ninth inning.
Yeah. Oh, and they were chanting MVP.
Yeah,
Hell fucking yeah.
I want to see what all he wins this year. He's going to win awards.
He better.
Can you win the Rookie of the Year and an MVP in the same year? I mean, is that even possible? Would they even let that happen?
The voters wouldn't let it happen because
That's what I was. Yeah,
they're baseball purists. Babe Ruth didn't do it, so we can't do that for you.
I agree.
I hate baseball writers.
Also, Mike Skeens he took an L in that game.
Yeah.
That was his first loss since he lost to Arkansas back in college.
Fucking trade that bum now. Get him the
Yeah,
fuck out of here. It, if we had an offense,
yeah.
Paul Skeens should be like 11 or 12-0 right now, and that is a scary thought. Just truly put it into perspective of how dominant this guy is. He should be undefeated right now. He should be leading the majors in close to leading the majors in wins, and he missed a month and a half.
Yeah, and
That's how
his
dominant he
strikeouts,
is.
he's right under 100.
Yeah,
Like I think he's like 97 strikeouts. Also, Mike,
it's disgusting.
the Indianapolis Indians, of course, our AAA team. For the Pirates, they had 2 grand slams in their game the other day. Yesterday, Peguero and Matt Frazier. Of course, you recognize Peguero from being called up playing right field here for the Pirates. A little bit of infield, I think, as well as second base. Mike, they hit 2 grand slams. They are the only team other than their major league parent club, the Pittsburgh Pirates, to hit 2 grand slams this season. Only 2 teams, one in the majors, one in the minors. Both Pittsburgh Pirates teams are the only teams to hit 2 grand slams in a game this season.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that's a Pirate stat.
It is.
Because Pirates always have the weird stats. They're not consistently good, but they'll do one thing really good one day and they make the record book. It's a Pirate thing. I don't know what that's about, but every once in a while, what do they say? The sun even shines on a dog's ass some days, right?
Yeah, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Let me talk about some of these injuries real quick. Mike, we have to move on. As I was saying, Falter, he is going down to pitch a game in the minors for a rehab start. Jared Jones still pitching from flat ground. So we're keeping an eye on him. He's not back on the mound yet, so he still has a little way to go. I can't wait till Jared Jones gets out there, but I don't think they're rushing him necessarily. So let him heal. Let his lat get better. We're going to need him in the long haul.
Yep.
And then finally, the big news is Brian Reynolds going on bereavement. He got scratched the other night. He didn't start for the very first game of the season last game with back spasms. So we didn't play that game. We had yesterday off, and the news this morning was he's out for the next 3 to 9 games for bereavement, which the bereavement rule says you can if you take it, it's a minimum of 3 games. So he could come back. He could come back the fourth game, so on and so forth, all the way up to 9 days, 9 games. That's how the rule is set. So
I wonder if they're using that to get around putting him on the IL.
It could possibly be. And they also, when they scratch him, I think they're bringing G1 Bay. So we're going to see our little friend
Yeah.
G1 Bay coming back up tonight as well to play against the Arizona
W-
Cardinals.
We haven't seen G1 Bay in a long time, it feels like.
He came up briefly earlier this season and
Yeah, it
then he
was
got
real
hurt
quick.
and then he's been down for quite some time. But we will see G1 back in the lineup tonight. Mike, that is everything for the Pirates. I do have to move on. We do have a lot of things, quite a
Yep.
few things still to go over. Pittsburgh Penguins, Kyle Dubas has been what did he scheduled for a role as Canada? Okay, Canada 25 Four Nations face-off team. Kyle Dubas has been selected for a role in that team. Mike,
Oh, somewhere in there picking the team probably overseeing it. Yeah, because I didn't see that. My bad. Usually I
you're
catch that stuff on Twitter too. I just didn't notice it.
um also Pitt Panthers, they start camp next week. We'll be able to get college underway. Of course, the NFL
Yep.
started this week showing up at camp. College shows up next week. You could keep an eye on the Pitt Panthers. While I'm talking about the Pitt Panthers, Blake Hinson, Blake Hinson, of course, everybody remembers his range in college. He of course he plays for the Lakers now. He has 10.9 points per game in the summer league so far, 10.9 points per game, pretty good. 2.5 rebounds per game, and he had 21 3-pointers made in the summer league for the Lakers. Blake Hinson, keep an eye on him. If I know a lot of people like the Lakers for whatever reason, and you'll probably be paying attention because of Braun and Bronny. You also have Blake down there as well. So keep an eye on him. I think he's going to do well, him and Bub Carrington over in Washington. So, and Mike, finally, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they play the Loudoun United FC. That's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Get down, follow the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Maybe they could keep this winning thing going. I don't remember what
Keep it going.
they won last week, right?
I believe so. Yeah, well, you said they won two in a row. And I was like,
Was
one
that the
more, and that's
second? Okay,
yeah, one more, and that's called a winning streak.
there we go. Mike, it's time for the trivia. I got to be honest with you. This show went really fast
I
today.
know. It's flying by.
We had a lot of things to go over because again, we will be back on August 5th. We are taking our second week of summer break this year. And after today, we'll be back on August 5th with all kind of scoop from Derpy from camp. But Mike, there, so many different sports still going on. You got the Hounds, you got football starting up. Pirates are looking good. This is the trivia question of the day. It's going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler question. So,
all right,
put on your thinking cap. Everybody at home, people on the board, play along. Here we go. Who was the only Pittsburgh Steeler to ever win the league MVP? There's only been one. The question of the day is who was the only Pittsburgh Steeler to win league MVP? There's only been one.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Take a moment to think that over. We're live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here. Do not forget that we are going on our vacation break after today's show. We'll be back on Monday, August 5th. So we hope that you come and join us back when we come back on the air. Mike, the question of the day is this. The question of the day is who was the only Steeler to win league MVP? 1933 was their established year. Here we are, 2024, 91 years in total. Which Steeler was the only Steeler to win league MVP? On the board, P says Mean Joe Green. Brian says Mark Malone. Mike, who's your guess? Who's the only Pittsburgh Steeler to ever be the MVP in the NFL?
Blonde Bomber himself.
And what year was that? What year?
God. 77, 78 season.
1978. So there you go. The only Pittsburgh Steeler to ever be the MVP. Crazy. It was such a great franchise.
Yeah.
A lot of wins along the way. A lot of great players. The only MVP 1978, Terry Bradshaw. Mike, give me a moment. I do want to go back into the board just a little bit because there's just a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, no, you're good, brother.
I know that you've been working with the board. Um, P says Joe ain't been the same since those Hampton Whites. What is that about? Because there's things that I've seen that I just didn't address because you were handling. What was that? What did I miss?
So
Joe
we
had
were making fun of Joe Burrow's new haircut, new style.
Oh,
Yeah,
Joe
he went to
Burrow.
those rich parties where you wear all white.
I
He
gotcha.
came out a different man.
I gotcha.
He lost that LSU swag.
Brian said the Pirates are the 5 at the bar that come closing time looks like an 8. Yes. P, the Pirates are the jump off that sends you home with some breakfast. Uh,
Hell
Brian
yeah.
Brian says I think Reynolds could play Sunday. It was 3 days, not 3 games. Okay. And what's this? What's this last P? Luton just got regulated from the Prince, whose squad would be pretty decent. Okay. I didn't want to feel like we were ignoring. I wasn't
Yeah.
ignoring.
Yeah, you were. You were. I know you were. I heard what you were saying about them.
I do also want to say,
Oh no.
go check out Brian Pasquale every Wednesday on WBVP. You can check it out at their Facebook page, their YouTube page. Also, they do have an app at WBVP Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM every Wednesday at 5 o'clock p.m., 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Brian Pasquale is the host of One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale. He always has good things to say about us and our show, so I do want to make sure we pay it back to him. Do go check out Brian Pasquale every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on One Man's Opinion on Sports with Brian Pasquale. Good show. There's not much that he doesn't cover. Go check him out. Mike, before we start to wrap it up, you got anything interesting, man? Because we are going to be going away for a week here. So
Yeah, well, not anything interesting, but I've been following along on Twitter with the Steeler updates as training camp goes on. I think we're gonna have to start hashtag Diva Alert for one Mr. George Pickens.
oh, don't tell me that. Please don't tell
Yeah,
me.
yeah, he was, he got
could've-
into a heated exchange with the new wide receiver coach at the end of practice yesterday. Apparently, due to the coach did not like his effort. And then today, he was open on like a quick slant. Justin Fields decides to throw outside and was an incomplete pass to Calvin Austin, and he was jumping up and down in the middle of the field. So hashtag Diva Alert on George Pickens. I know. I didn't want to go on vacation on a downer, but I'm seeing this. Hopefully, it's just nothing. Because you see George though in game though he's always locked in, ready to go no matter what happens. But you know how wide receivers are, man.
I've seen
they're all head cases. They're all head cases.
I've seen signs of things. I'm just worried. I hope it doesn't get worse, but we'll certainly keep an eye on that, Mike. I do have a few things here. The Olympics, of course. Snoop Doggy Dogg, a torchbearer for the Paris Olympics. How could you not love this? I personally love it. Doggy Dog. He's always been one of my favorites. I think it's cool. A lot of people are going to scratch their heads and say, why would he be the one? But you know what? Me personally, I dig.
I love it.
Also, Mike, USA 3-on-3 basketball is going to be something that I'm going to be keeping my eye on in the Olympics this year. A lot of people, of course, talking about the LeBron James USA team. Maybe they're even talking about this women's team that might have left a couple gals off that should have been there.
Yep.
But Mike, my favorite, I'm going to watch. It's always been my favorite since I was a kid. We played it all the time. 3-on-3 hoops. USA does have a basketball team that caught my attention. Also, Mike, a couple other things I do have here. A sharp-nosed shark, sharp-nosed shark caught near Rio shows that it show chronic exposure to cocaine. When they took this shark and they did whatever testing they do, this sharp-nosed shark near Rio was exposed to, he has chronic exposure to cocaine. So whether it got in the ocean and the shark, but can you imagine what a shark looks like on coke?
That I kind of want to see that. They had the movie Cocaine Bear. They need
that's
what
the article started off as. Yes, if you like Cocaine Bear, you may like Cocaine Shark because he has he's been exposed to chronic cocaine use.
That shit's funny, but it's kind of sad.
But you know, it's
Poor shark.
wild.
You know that shark just like, what the hell's going on? Why?
Like I'm watching all my conspiracy theory reels and TikToks, and they're just showing all these sharks are acting so wild and crazy anymore. It's because they're on coke. There's no
You know, the 80s.
seismic shifts. There's no plates shifting. It's fucking coke. It's always been coke. Look at the Mets in '86. It's always been
Yeah.
coke.
You know how it's, they always say it takes like, US culture, a few years to finally hit Europe, and they're always like a few years behind in our trends and stuff.
Yeah.
It might take, it's decades now for the animal kingdom that I've come to realize. The sharks are now living the 1980s.
That's right. You're gonna see
They're
the
about
Paul
40
Skeens
years behind.
mustache on them
Yeah.
sharp noses before you know it.
They're about 40 years behind us, but you know what? They're having a blast.
Finally, Mike, the top 10 states, the top 10 states were announced for the most money that has been spent in gambling.
Uh,
Money spent in gambling. The top 10, I'm only going to give you the top 5.
okay.
Number 1, Nevada. Mike, people spend $15.5 billion annually in Nevada. That is your top. Take a guess who's number 2 in the whole entire country, Mike, for spending money on gambling. Number 1's Nevada with 15.5 billion spent a year.
So I'm looking for a state.
Yes.
Ooh.
Now you're looking for a yeah.
Yeah, you took me a second here. Let's go with, I'm gonna go outside the box and say Mississippi.
All right, number 1 is Nevada, $15.5 billion. This is the top 10 states spending, gambling spending. Nevada, number 1. Number 2, Mike, at $5.9 billion spent. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the second largest state by money spent in gambling. Number 3, Mike, New Jersey.
Yep.
Pennsylvania's ahead of New Jersey. Number 4, New York. And number 5, Michigan. P on the board says Louisiana. He also says Maryland. But the top 5 are Nevada, 15.5 billion, Pennsylvania, 5.9 billion. Then after that, New Jersey, New York, Michigan to round off the top 5.
Yeah. I forgot about, all the sports books, that pop, that are now legal throughout. I was thinking, oh, Mississippi, they got Biloxi, people go down, they gamble and stuff right there. I was thinking the same thing about Louisiana too. I was in the same line of thought as P. But yeah, PA, baby, we're up there. There's gambling all over this.
Bro, I can't even go to the grocery store.
Hey, those aren't gambling. Those are skill games.
Skill game. You know what? You go in the grocery store, there's these little hidden rooms off to the side. It's so weird. We never used to have this because we didn't have gambling forever. And you're at the grocery store or you're at any store.
Yeah.
And there's a little hidden room off to the side, and you could go in there and gamble. The convenience stores have them.
Mm-hmm. Like the first time I was in Vegas, dude, it blew my mind. Like literally everywhere you go in Vegas is a casino. Grocery stores, just any store you walk in, there's a section to gamble. What does that say,
Mike, about Pennsylvania? Listen, Mike, 15.5 billion in Las Vegas, 5.9 billion in PA. That's only 3 times as much as Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
like you would think that it would be a lot more than Pennsylvania,
dude. Like it's okay. I can tell you, dude. Western PA people love to gamble. You know how it is. You go to a gas station or a convenience store trying to get in and out, and there's a line of people at the scratchy lottos and just playing their pick threes. So it doesn't surprise me we're that high up.
Well, Mike, it looks like we've come to the end of the road for the week at least. Again, we are going on our second summer vacation or break next week. We'll be back on Monday, August 5th. I do want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us today. We appreciate couldn't do it without you. I do want to say thanks to everybody on the board as well.
Like Pete says, man, that over here, that's how it is. Like in West Virginia and PA too, you don't get the free beers in the casino.
Yeah.
That's why I love me some Vegas. Hell yeah, the Vegas slot machine's right in the airport. Gamble going in and gamble going out, baby.
There you go.
Yep.
So I do want to say thanks once again, everybody. A lot of things going to be going down. The Steelers are at camp. We're going to have Derpy on scene next Friday. So when we come back on the following Monday, we'll have a lot from Derpy from Steeler training camp. Pittsburgh Pirates again start a series tonight against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. Then they go over to Houston for a series. Week are looking for the Pirates to hopefully make some moves in these next 4 days before the trade deadline. That's coming up real fast. Pittsburgh Riverhounds over the weekend, Mike. Pitt football is going to be kicking off, or they're going to be picking up their camp next week. So keep up with the sports. Let me tell you,
Yes.
you're doing better if you're paying attention to sports than politics, because sports brings you together. Politics tears you apart.
No, you mention Kenny Pickett to any Steeler fan base. It'll be worse than talking about the election.
I've never heard anybody say anything. I've heard nobody sticking up for Kenny Pickett since he's left.
Oh, dude, I still see little arguments here and there on Twitter. It just makes me giggle.
Really.
Yeah.
But we do want to say thank you, everybody. And again, we will be back
appreciate it.
Monday, August 5th. I hope you could be here. We can't wait. We can't wait to see everybody. Can't wait to talk sports and everything else that comes along the way. But in the meantime, let's go Bucks. Here we go, Steelers, and everything in between. And everybody be safe.
Yes.
Have a great week. Enjoy your
Yes.
summer. Mike, anything before we roll?
No, I just can't wait to take this break, get recharged, and come back and just have a blast all the way through NFL season, baby. I can't wait. Hopefully, by the time we come back, the Buccaneers have improved their roster.
Hopefully by the time we come back, I get my light fixed.
That might be a bridge too far. We'll see what happens first. Do you get a new light, or do the Pirates upgrade their offense?
Yeah, you're right. That's the question. That is the question.
That is the question.
So again, everybody, enjoy your bread and circus, because politics is getting really ugly, and I can't even stand to look at it anymore at this point. But again, we'll be back in 10 days. We'll be talking mad sports, a lot of things also that goes down in the meantime. For Mike at the Steeler Central mobile studio, myself, and even Derpy, for the Two Dumb Yinzers, we want to say, hey, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the 5th. Bye-bye.